Look, the biggest podcast where you can learn them lessons. Line for line where you can learn from different sections. Made it out the mud, come tell your story, blessings. Never know who listening, never know who stressing. Devon gave you a voice, come speak your honest truth. Line for line, go bar for bar, it's up to you. Wanna talk sports, gov, and politics? Wanna talk about where you from and your accomplishments? Then Line for Line is really where you need to be. A platform that's really made for folks like you and me. You can find it all no matter what you seek. Whether you calling or you listening, tune in every week.
All right. We're back on another episode of Line for Line, Comic Book Friday. It's been a while, but we definitely got Mike Adams back in the building. Mike, how you doing today?
We're good, bud.
Man, I'm feeling really, really good. We're here today to talk about, you know what we're talking about. We're talking about Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Oh, let me cancel that.
Captain America.
There you go. Let's change it, man. So all in all, now we got the 6 episodes, you know. What did you think of the body of work that Marvel presented us with?
They could have easily made that into another multi-billion-dollar movie.
Yeah.
But still very good. Very happy. Like, couldn't have been happier with the whole project.
Mm-hmm.
I loved all 6 episodes for different reasons for each one. Each one brought a little bit of different part of Marvel history and the story along with it to kind of give the nerds a little bit more feed.
Yes, sir.
But it was great.
Me being an African-American young man, that definitely settled my spirit really, really well as well, too, you know, because it provided you with that roller coaster of emotions and feelings, too, you know, things that you see on a daily basis that maybe your family has went through, you know.
Sam Wilson's speech in the end about doing better, I think really kind of hit the hammer right on the head, or hit the nail right on the head, with kind of the maybe people from outside who don't have the same perspective as a black man in America might not have, like him turning the tables on someone who's in a position of power and is not of a ethnic minority, I think really was a really good move by Marvel's part. And I really think it kind of stood up for the character and for the American ideal behind Captain America in general.
Yeah, dude, they definitely hit home with that. And I was telling a good buddy of mine too, like they knew when to release this. They released it in the perfect time. Like, look at everything that's going on, you know what I'm saying, with people rebelling against the government, you know what I'm saying, with COVID and everything going on, like all these stimulus packages, new presidents in and out, this happening, you know. I like how they release it at the perfect time when everything aligns up at the same time.
Well, you know that they edited part of that story out too. Like there was originally a pandemic part of that plot.
No way, stop playing.
Yeah, no, there was. And they edited some of that. There's some cuts, and if you know about what they cut and some of the story arcs that were going to happen, and some of the footage that they didn't use, there's some cuts in there that once you know that, like it become real obvious. But I think they did a real good job of not putting too much camera time or light on it, so the story still flowed real smooth. If you didn't know what was going on.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. I didn't even know that. How'd you hear that, man?
Some people that I hold near and dear jumped in my ear about it, and I'm like, I listen, I know that you're excited about this, but also you just dropped a bunch of spoilers on me, and I'm not happy about it.
Yeah. Speaking of spoilers, please, if you have not seen the full series of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, please do not watch this. I will put that in the description as well. Please do not watch this until you've seen everything, unless you want to be here for spoilers and hear how everything operates.
It's gonna be 100% spoilers.
Yeah. Now back to where I want to start, Mike, if you don't mind. I want to start with episode 3, Power Broker.
Okay.
Sharon Carter, help me understand like how, because it's so hard for me to talk because there's just like everything trying to flow out at once about this episode, you know. It's like it reminds you back of when Hydra was really prevalent, you know what I'm saying? And you know how they mounted people inside of S.H.I.E.L.D. and everything like that, and everything was corrupt. She was on the side of, oh, we don't like corruptness, but then look at her now.
So Sharon, this is a character departure normally for her from the comic books. But here's the thing. So we don't have a solid angle on where Nick Fury is in the world. And with Julia Louis-Dreyfus showing up as the Countess is going to be her persona is Madam Hydra. But if you backtrack her in the comics, she's a de facto leader inside of S.H.I.E.L.D. for a very long time. So we've got 2 S.H.I.E.L.D. power players here that are acting kind of outside of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s normal parameter without S.H.I.E.L.D. in general and no Nick Fury. Yeah. There's a strong possibility that we're playing more spy games here and that Sharon Carter is not actually a turncoat as a power broker, but is just a mole for S.H.I.E.L.D. deeper into, you know, the underworld inside of the evolving Marvel U. Or maybe she's a bad guy. Who knows? It could be fun.
That was just crazy, dude. Because it was like they just threw so much in there with that too. Because I think people that she has on her side are going to be very prevalent down the line if she turns out to go left.
For sure.
So especially with George St. Pierre character, what was his name?
Batroc.
Yeah, Batroc. Obviously he's still around. He's on her team. It was awesome seeing him, by the way, as well too. That was one of the coolest fights when Captain America first fought him on that ship.
For sure.
That was definitely one of. But yeah,
listen, man, that squirrel suit chase scene through the helicopters was absolutely like silver screen movie worthy of any sort of like action sequence that you could want. Like that was so good.
Now going into this, bro, I definitely did think that the fight scenes wouldn't be all that great because I was like, oh, it's Falcon. They're trying to introduce them and like show a story with them to intertwine. I was
Bro,
like, yeah.
The dynamic use of Falcon in his suit in all the combat scenes was so good.
Yeah.
If anything, Bucky's combat sequences were a little lackluster next to Sam's because Sam was using, so many different elements of his combat style in his suit to do all sorts of wild stuff.
Yeah.
And then when you stack the shield on top of it,
oh my gosh,
what's up?
Yeah, and if you ask me, like Bucky was kind of not that guy when in this season on the combat scenes.
Winter Soldier who?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, yeah, he was getting beat up, but Falcon was doing it. Granted, it's supposed to revolve more around him, you know what I'm saying? Like him stepping into that role as well too. So I get it, but
absolutely, but you still brass tacks. 100-year-old mercenary full of super soldier serum, still not looking awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad that they kind of put the spotlight on Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson and let him do his thing.
Exactly.
And let him have as much spotlight as he did. Like, very good, very satisfying.
Yeah, I definitely think that he can have his own standalone movie now after seeing this, because that was a question like before the series, oh, Falcon's cool, but I don't see him having his own movie or whatever the case may be.
No, I think that the people at Marvel and the writers around the projects all knew that Anthony Mackie has the star power and the charisma to carry that, especially with giving him another series to just continually vault him into the forefront.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, now that's one of the things that I want to talk about as well too. What do you think about the dynamic between Bucky and Sam?
They just play. I mean, they played off the stuff that they'd already established. But then with Bucky kind of going through his catharsis and finishing his list, like it was good to see him like physically relax on screen. If you watch like the first maybe 4.5 episodes, like he's still stiff, he's dour. Like Sebastian Stan does a really good job of like portraying that aspect of Bucky where he's always kind of inside of himself, like closed down. And then to finally see him like smile and loosen up in that last, maybe 70 minutes of show, like was real good.
Yeah, definitely. I liked how he carried himself in it as well too. And I definitely see his connections with Wakanda being very prevalent as well too. Especially when they showed up in the show, like that blew my mind,
You didn't think that was gonna happen?
I didn't know. No, yeah, I did not think that was gonna happen.
Oh, come on, man. Zemo showed up out of jail and all of a sudden Wakanda's not gonna have something to say about it?
Yeah, dude. That was crazy when they showed up too.
Not happening.
Yeah. And then you see when he said, I need one more favor. So that's another thing too, is a suit, Sam's Captain America suit now, is that vibranium too, or is it just Wakanda tech?
Probably both.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say probably both.
That was cold when he came in that suit, man. I hate how when they gave it to him, like that's when it ended. You know what I'm saying? They didn't show us what was.
That was such a good teaser.
Yeah, that was a cliffhanger. Like I hated that they didn't show us what was in the suitcase right away.
The fact that he threw the shield through the window and exploded through the window after it, like what an entrance! Like,
yeah.
And also for them to nail like the look of the costume from the comics right in the translation to the show, like was real good. Like they didn't miss. Like I understand that people always have something to gripe about, and the stuff that people are griping about is so like small. But for the translation from a comic to the show, for what they did, it's awesome.
Yeah. Speaking back to the chemistry between the two, I think that it took a while to develop in the show. Granted, which we knew that was going to come because there were still flaring tempers and people not understanding why this happened. And then, as you can see, Sebastian Stan wasn't a fan of Falcon turning down the role of Captain America. So you knew that it was going to take time for them to get back on a good pace. And I say that to say this, I just from where it went in the show, I could possibly see him and Sam's sister maybe having a fling or something like that. Because they did tease that a couple of times, I'm saying, with the way they would look at each other. Hey, don't talk to my,
I think that's more or less just them trying to riff on each other. Like them trying to continue to harass each other like they did in the car sequences,
Mhm.
and them like trying to work around each other like while still having like all these other unresolved feelings around their situation.
Mhm.
I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but
Yeah.
we know that his love interest, Bucky's love interest, lie other places in the MCU, and we'll see if those come to fruition or not.
Yeah. One thing that I will say as well too, it was good to see him like yearning for a family, you know, because he's like learning how to gauge his feelings now, you know, and want love, and that's why he said the shield meant that much to him, you know, because it stood for family with him, you know what I'm saying, and if he didn't have that, he felt like he didn't have family.
Right, the last vestiges of his humanity before he became a robot, essentially.
Yeah. Hey, what did you think when they broke down his arm like that when they were fighting him, the Dora Milaje?
Oh, well, you didn't think that was going to happen?
No,
you think Wakanda's going to be like, hey, we're going to give you the super weapon? BS. You're never going to be able to use it against us.
Yeah.
Not happening.
Yeah, why they break his arm down like that though?
They just pulled right out of socket. It was
yeah.
awesome.
And then you see he's like, they weren't even super soldiers. That was like super funny.
Brutal. And
Yeah.
that fighting sequence. Here's the thing: is also they were pulling like those Dora Milaje were pulling their punches in that fight scene. Like they absolutely could have absolutely just killed everyone in that room and left just a spray of blood everywhere.
Yeah.
But no, they didn't.
People fail to realize how powerful they are, you know. And we've seen nothing in the MCU yet about them, you know.
You have to think that they are warriors trained from birth. Like no, there's like they are in fact in my estimation probably steps more powerful than Johnny Walker was, as Johnny Walker was being a pinnacle human being to be inducted into the Captain America role, where he's stronger, faster, smarter. Like that's one dude. This is a whole group of people whose whole lives revolve around this one role. No, they are definitely stronger, smarter, tougher, more coordinated, and the coordination between them, especially with the technology and weaponry they use, makes them significantly more deadly than most people think.
Yeah, this is crazy. And what's crazy, another thing is I didn't expect Zemo to have hands the way he did, you know, because he was carrying his own, you know, he was like doing his little thing.
Everyone online was like, Zemo put the mask on once and then forgot about it. Zemo put the mask on the one time he decided to be a gangster.
Yeah.
Like the one time Zemo was gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna actually mess a bunch of stuff up. He put the mask on. Like,
yeah.
But no, like Zemo has a whole set of skills that he just didn't use. Like that's part of the character's like chameleonness. Like everyone expects him just to be some dude, and he's not.
Yeah,
he's really just laying in the cut waiting for everyone else to make a mistake, and then he's gonna take advantage.
Yep.
And he did that a bunch of times, but he just didn't do it physically. He used his charisma and money and his mind to make moves around people to make things happen for him.
This is chess, not checkers, huh?
That's right. He didn't have to use any brute force, except for that one scene where he decided, like I said, put the mask on and get a little gangster. But I mean, that's just one scene.
Yeah, that was crazy. And then you see how they sent him to the raft. Actually, that time, you know, one of the most secure prisons out there. But Captain America could get in there still, though.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a Shield black site. Like the raft is for super criminals only.
Yeah. So definitely Zemo will be around in the future.
Oh yeah.
It's so crazy the amount of things that we get from one show, you know, and we're not even halfway through everything that we need to discuss. And look how far we are with these conversations of what happened.
Well, I mean, there's a lot to unpack. I mean, there was a lot of, like I said, a lot of stuff packed in 6 episodes.
Yeah. What was your favorite part of the show, you think?
Tough to say. I don't know. I'm picking one point. It's going to be probably I'm just going to say my favorite sequence is probably like I said, the squirrel suit chase through the helicopters. That was so good.
Sam did his thing, you know.
Well, just all of them, like just the whole sequence of events was shot really well. That looked really cool. Like
yeah,
it set you up for later in the series. Like it unfolded the events of the first 2 episodes. Like I liked it all. I don't know if that's my favorite part, but visually that was probably my favorite part.
I love how we're learning more and more about his tech as we see more of him throughout the MCU. His tech is amazing, you know, especially Red Wing. That's so clutch, you know.
Do you know? I mean, speaking of Red Wing, in the comics, Sam Wilson is either a different type of human or some sort of mutant, because you know that he has like avian empathy. Like he telepathically communicate with birds, and he's an expert bird trainer. Red Wing is an actual bird.
Yeah, in the comics.
In the comics. And like that gets completely glazed over that Sam Wilson's a regular human being in the MCU, like, which I think is like probably good, but to not confuse anything. But I always thought it's strange, like in the comics, this kind of part of his character is just
this is an actual bird too.
Well, but like being able to telepathically communicate with birds kind of seems like a big deal, right?
Yeah. That definitely is.
No, it's definitely weird.
I
don't know if they're gonna be like they're gonna run that in the MCU. What if he gets like what if he gets nicked with the super soldier and then like all of a sudden he's Dr. Doolittle birds?
Yeah,
that'd be weird. I think it'd be very confusing.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
So bringing us back to Captain America, how are we going to talk about this unfolding with John Walker?
Well, I mean, listen. John Walker being Captain America to U.S. agent is a real like that's comic solid.
Mm-hmm.
So why not? Like him being U.S. agent, being able to be anti-Captain America is exactly what happened in the comics.
Yeah. So tell us what you know about John Walker.
I mean, what happened with John Walker is essentially what happened right there. That's really solid. Here's something I didn't like about the series, and it's that they alluded to him taking the serum and they didn't show him do it.
Mm-hmm.
We see him in the early stages go toe to toe with super soldiers, and they're not great super soldiers. They're kids with super soldier serum. They're definitely not like Steve Rogers. But he definitely went toe to toe with those super soldiers on top of the trucks. And then later, after they allude to him taking the serum, like he uses his regular strength to pull the truck off of the I-beams as it's about to fall.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, if he was strong enough to fight the super soldiers, maybe he was strong enough if he's going to be peak human form to maybe level off that truck. Like I know it's alluding to the fact that he used the serum and he was that strong to do that, pull the truck back, but they never directly showed it. I know Madam Hyder said the smartest thing you did was to use the serum, like, but I would have liked to see him do it.
Yeah, that would have been great. That would have been like the pinnacle of him like becoming Captain America.
Well, they could have definitely put some stuff in there around it, but I mean, who knows? Like they were going through with like the serum amplifying all of you, and like his stress definitely became more part of him as he becomes more frustrated and angry as the show goes on.
Yeah.
So like a mental conversation, or maybe like if he used the serum and like it sent him through a series of flashbacks that continued to compound the stress on his psyche, like that could have been cool, but they didn't go that way.
Yeah. What do you think of like how like he was like not following orders like as being Captain America too? Because if you look at it, even when he ran into like Bucky and Sam, he kind of wanted to go his own way and do it his way, as opposed to being a team man, having it being a team effort.
Well, you have to think he was under control from the government, like, or under orders from the government. Sam and Bucky weren't. Like I said, Sam says we're free agents. We can do whatever we want.
Yeah,
he had orders on the mission that he was supposed to take care of.
Mm-hmm.
So when they ran into each other, like he wanted in the first couple of steps to get them to work together. But I'm pretty sure that like Sam and Bucky's resistance to that just made him sour on it.
Mm-hmm.
And as they keep coming into clashes together as Captain and Battlestar and Winter Soldier and Falcon, like their cooperation continues to devolve as the story progresses. So them at the final steps where he's absolutely unwilling to work with them and then goes completely rogue, like that fits in the narrative. Like his devolving stability like makes him act more rogue.
I like it. What do you feel about him like taking on the role of Captain America for the show's sake? Because obviously we saw how it transpired.
Well, like I mean, someone had to. Like that's the comic book character that became Captain America for a while.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I said, as comics go, it's good.
Did we get a taste of the Dark Avengers when he killed the other super soldier?
I don't think so.
In front of everyone like that? No,
because he's not. Because U.S. Agent, I don't think is a Dark Avenger. I don't think he was part of that team.
No. Okay, so see, forgive me for being wrong on that one. I thought that was the way. So what do you think that they'll use him for now? Is he going to be Captain Nomad or no? That wasn't the Nomad outfit that he had at the end.
No, that's U.S. Agent.
Yeah.
So Nomad was when the first incarnation of Nomad was when Captain America became disillusioned with the government and just essentially did his own thing.
And that's why I thought that, excuse me, because obviously Madame Hydra recruited him back and he's back on, so
Right.
excuse me.
And all of those events are all intertwined together. So that's like 3 or 4 storylines that are all happening around each other.
Mm-hmm.
So Captain America, Nomad, U.S. Agent, Madame Hydra, in fact, interfere. So Madame Hydra, in fact, in the comics, for a while is Nick Fury's girlfriend, and she flirts with Steve Rogers, infuriates Nick, and Nick and Captain America become opposed to each other, even though they're working at the same time for a long time. And it happens later when Sharon Carter and Madame Hydra, or the Countess, whatever you want to call her, are on an all-female team, and Sharon Carter and Captain America are together. Then she flirts Captain America, and then causes continual like rift between them because of her being interested in Steve.
Oh wow!
So it gets real kind of wonky as time goes on. But also, like in the comic books, she's a triple agent because she's a SHIELD recruit that infiltrates Hydra, but originally all the way back as a Russian spy.
Mm-hmm.
So like her backstory is kind of wild, and like her course through like the Marvel U is very twisted. Like for its end goals are kind of like, I mean, she's going to do stuff, but she's also on 2 or 3 different missions with all kinds of different stuff going on. Like,
yeah,
you really can't trust her.
Yeah. Well, obviously you can see how she moves, so we already know not to trust her going forward.
For sure.
So what do you think they're going to do with him going forward, John Walker?
Oh, who knows? He might show up as a background character. He might have another, he could probably hold his own series, especially if they're going to do stuff with like more Punisher, or more like they're going to go dark and gritty. Like that's definitely going to be his wheelhouse.
Yeah. Because that's the thing. Like, obviously with this being a series, we don't know yet if they're going to have more than one season of these series yet, right?
They haven't said yet.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, you can't just introduce someone like that and then be like, all right, we're not going to see him again.
But also they have someone who's got a lot of longevity inside the Marvel comics, like as U.S. Agent, to do stuff. Like they can put him in a lot of places.
Yeah, and just be hit all over the place too. Overall, what would you say you rate this series?
10.
10?
I loved it.
Yeah. Is it better than WandaVision?
According to Disney, the stats say yes.
Yeah. What about according to Mike Adams?
It's different. I'd say they're equal. Like,
yeah,
you're dealing with two very different sets of characters. You're dealing with like some very different storylines. Like, I mean, I like. Listen, I'm a fan. I'm a fan. I like them both a lot.
Yeah.
There is an interesting point between the two, though, that I think is worth mentioning. In WandaVision, we see one of the Maximoff twins dressed as Wiccan. And then Isaiah Bradley's grandson, Eli Bradley, is with them through a couple of episodes, and he becomes Patriot. Now, Wiccan and Patriot are both parts of Young Avengers, and we know Kang is possibly coming in the future, and that future young Kang becomes Iron Lad, and then we have the 3 essentially founding members of Young Avengers. So, do we have a Young Avengers project in the works here? Like, it'd be interesting to see.
This is why I keep saying you're gonna mess around and get Comic Book Friday notice. You know what I'm saying? Just with your with your mind and how you put things together. You know, so they're gonna.
That's a real easy. Like anybody who's into it, anybody who's been reading comics for a while probably can make that conclusion.
They go like, Mike Adams, we need to find this guy and get him signed. Get him off the streets. Speaking of Isaiah Bradley, that is crazy. How no one knew about him.
There's actually another sort of reference point there too. So there were other black superheroes. Like that the original Hulk is black too, right?
No way.
Yeah,
I've been a fan my whole life, and I did not know that.
Yep. So that guy's name was Tyrone Cash, or his alias was Tyrone Cash, and he actually started a Hulk project based off the Super Scissor program. Before Banner did. Banner was a new doctor while he was already like advanced in the project. He tested his final product on himself and became a essentially Hulk-like character.
What? Wow. Look at you teaching us all this new stuff here on Comic Book Friday.
I'm just saying.
Man.
So here's the thing: is like, are there like, and those are the 2 that I know of off the top of my head. Like, I don't know if there's more. There probably could be.
My guy, that's crazy.
But them bringing Isaiah in was awesome. Like, I'm glad that they did that, especially to continue to pay homage to, black soldiers, black men, like all of the things that kind of get overlooked in a lot of you know or mainstream comics, like giving them the pedestal and the spotlight. I think was great
that they desperately deserve,
for sure.
coming from a fellow Black American. I was talking to another fellow African American too. Is like when people do great things, sometimes they try to hide you and cover you up. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't want people to witness your true potential. Especially with him being African American, a super soldier. Are you ready for that as the face of Captain America? Because as you can see, Sam already talked about the adversity that he would have to go through to become Captain America.
I like the fact that they let Isaiah be bitter and let Sam um, continue to prosper, continue to just fight through on his own. I think that really kind of shows the depth of Sam's desire to capture the true essence of Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they kind of needed that to happen. Even though you want all the good things for Isaiah, you didn't want to see him to go to prison. You didn't want to see his wife die while he was away. Like all that is horrible. But I think it only in storyline was necessary to counterpoint Sam capturing the essence of Captain America.
Yeah.
I think so. I could be wrong.
Yeah. That was crazy, like the amount of things that he lost while fighting for the country as well too. Like I can see why he would be extremely bitter,
Well, I mean that's not a made up story. That's a real story. Like that stuff happened.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was just saying too when we first started. This like that's why it resonated so much with me because so many of my ancestors, people that I know went through everything that they put in the show, and when you can engage with your viewers and stuff like that, you're selling gold, and that's what makes me a Marvel fan as well too. You know what I'm saying? Because they do stuff that I feel like, oh, this is exactly for me, and that's how you want your fans to feel like this craft was perfected exactly for you,
Yeah, representation is everything. Like representation across all media platforms is becoming a bigger and bigger banner for people to fall behind, because for so long mainstream media only targeted the very top of viewer percentages.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying people outside of the most prolific viewers didn't enjoy the products, but I'm just saying they were targeted for them. Their storylines were being used, their faces were being shown.
Mm-hmm.
And now that all of that's changed, and especially with the expansion of media into different platforms and not being on just broadcast across your normal TV waves, everyone being able to have representation is just going to continually be more and more of a thing. Like we're going to get more diversity, we're going to get more different stories, we're going to get wilder stories, and then eventually, I think if we continue to watch long enough, we'll get this weird cross pollination of different types of stories as we continue to intermingle as people, like and we'll see, like eventually there might be like a Black Bollywood superhero storyline eventually.
Mm-hmm.
That could be some real wild stuff.
Yeah. And I was telling another friend of mine too. I was like, dude, this one definitely was for the culture. When I saw like the latter half of the series, I was like, I put this up there with Black Panther, like for the culture. You know what I'm saying? Like, how they dropped Black Panther during Black History Month as well too. It was like the all black led cast, everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely felt that, like you said, like the closing segment by Sam, you know what I'm saying, talking about the government and how it needs to be people that look like them representing them as well too, that definitely hit home.
For sure. I mean, and I mean, it was designed that way, but that story needs to be told. Like it needs to, especially like with more people watching, like the more people that see it, I think might all just find it easier to get on board with. People who might be resistant to the idea, which is silly to begin with, but but if they can find it in an easily consumable form, like what we're being shown, in the Marvel U shows, like I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, and that's definitely a good person to have on this side as well too for Sam. Being able to be that close to Isaiah Bradley.
Well, I don't know if they're going to bring him back or not. Like I like the fact that they kind of left him in the being a character from the background. I mean, I don't think he'll come back and pick up a shield.
Of course that. But I say that to say how Sam was like getting closer with him at the end. Coming, and even the grandson started opening up to him as well too, like hanging out with him, going places with him and stuff.
For sure, but I think that was all part of, like I said, him embracing the true ideals of Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
Like him going the extra mile to make sure that Isaiah Bradley knew that he wasn't just paying him mouth service, that he truly felt the way he did about him, his plight, their people in general, like all of that. Like all of that culminated in the end of that storyline was awesome.
Yeah. So, what do you think of the attack on the government led by Carly Morgenthau?
What do you mean? Like it's a plot device. It's also not completely unrealistic. Like
Yeah.
like we've seen, government attacks, we've seen terrorist actions. Like, do I think that? Well, here's a better version. Let me ask you this: you've seen Spider-Man: Far From Home, right?
Yes, sir.
So they reference the blip more than once in that. But do they get dark and gritty about it? Do they talk about displaced peoples or any of the real hardships that come back that you actually get exposed to in this?
Mm-mm.
No. Like you only see a very slim edge of it in Spider-Man, and so on this side we kind of see like the world like really exposed for what it is. Sam's continual plight to Carly that I understand what you want, but you're going about it the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that's real. That's real life. Like it's an ideological fraction between all peoples. Like we all kind of want the same thing. What we're willing to do there to get there is kind of what really separates us.
Yeah, I was just talking about that as well the other day of how like with a lot and more, more and more villains that come out Marvel, they're very relatable. You feel, and like you just said, you feel what they want. They're just not going about it the right way.
Right.
Because they're like intelligent as ever. You know what I'm saying? But that's always going to be a thing in life. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have like the good for the bad, but the good for the good. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I really like that how they touched on that.
Relatable. Like I mean, how many of us really gonna relate to Ultron?
Yeah.
Not likely.
Yeah.
But a little girl from a displaced place who came back, who all of a sudden is homeless, like that's some real stuff, man. That's some stuff that has all kind of been probably close to us at some point, been parts of our lives, been parts of people we know's lives. Like those are feels that we can all get on board with.
Yeah. They're snapping with the way they put everything together as well, my guy.
Well, I think that the fact that they're blending the story to be more realistic instead of being a high fantasy, setting like old Marvel used to be, where like you would go long periods of time without a real topic being blended in. And they're just kind of basing it in a better reality now, or the current reality now, just makes it more real. It makes it more enjoyable, makes it more relatable, which gets you more people watching.
Very true. You notice that they're showing more and more about the super soldier serum?
Well, Super Soldier Serum is like one of the backbones of Marvel. Like there's a whole like giant breadth of Marvel's library that all resolves around who's got it, who took it, who died, who didn't, who's got more of it, who's making it. Like all of those questions and all of those facts are all parts of a pile of character stories.
Yeah. I love how they just kept going more and more. Because for me, I didn't know that there were more super soldiers. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you would think, like, and was it Captain America: Civil War? You would think that those were the last of the super soldiers. You know what I'm saying? Other than Captain America and Bucky.
Nope.
But now we see that there's still more people taking it and more people getting it. And they're getting stronger and more advanced.
Also, that car bomb might have not killed those super soldiers. I mean, I'm gonna trust Zemo knows what he was doing, but also it might not got the job done.
And they may see that and come for him,
Maybe.
So we'll see. But they never touched on it. When John Walker when he busted in on Carly Morgenthau and Sam talking, remember how one of the super soldier serum vials rolled over to him and he took it?
Right.
What did he do with that? We didn't see where it went.
Right. No, he put it in his pouch. But that's like I said earlier. They allude to him taking it, but they don't show it.
But at that point, he already had the serum, so
no, he didn't.
He did not have it.
No, he's a regular human.
Because I thought when he first got the shield, he became.
No, he was just a dude. Like I said, it's amazing that he was holding his own on top of the semis in the early episodes with those young super soldiers. Like, even though he had the shield and he had advanced battle armor on, he was still just a guy with the shield fighting super soldiers, even though they were teens.
Oh wow! So that he may have taken that himself then.
No. They, like I said, they strongly allude to that he did, but they didn't show it.
Yeah, because I remember he was asking his partner. He said, "If you had the chance to take it, would you take it?" So that's why I thought when he took that up, I was like, "Oh, he's gonna use that for his guy, or maybe try to save him or something like that."
No.
but we saw that his partner actually died.
In the comics, Battlestar is a super soldier, and he didn't die.
Yeah.
So he's still around.
You think so?
No, I'm telling you, like, for sure, in the comics, Battlestar isn't dead and is a super soldier.
Nice. How many of these super soldiers are like active from the comics that you know of that we've like already come into phase with now?
I don't know, probably a pile.
Yeah.
So Johnny Walker, Battlestar, Winter Soldier. I think Taskmaster might have a version of it.
No way.
Well, not the same one. But his power, I can't remember where his powers come from because he's not a mutant.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we've already seen Isaiah. We've already seen Steve Rogers. Like I said, the super soldier serum is around. Like, people have it.
Yeah, and it's not going anywhere
No.
anytime soon. No.
Hmm.
That's crazy. That's definitely good to know. I don't know where they're gonna go with this too, because there has to be a season 2. You know, I think that they're gonna renew everything.
Well, also, like, here's another interesting is that the guy that's with Anthony Mackie in the early stages,
Mhm.
the guy that's with him in the cafe, Torres becomes a super soldier too. And the fact that when Walker tore his wings off and he gave his wings to Torres, like, him becoming a Falcon or the Falcon afterwards, that's kind of like that. It's not the exact same way it happens in the comics, but Torres becoming the Falcon later is like comic books. Like, that's real.
Yeah, wasn't there a young Falcon in the comic books too?
I'm not really sure they're not, but I know for sure Torres becomes the Falcon later.
Well, and they alluded to that when he said, "No, keep him."
Yep. So they're kind of giving him the nudge to become Falcon later down the line.
I like that because they definitely need Falcon going forward as well too. So, what do you think of Bucky's future with Wakanda?
I mean, we'll see what happens. Like, he might go back, he might not. Like,
White Wolf.
I mean, if Wakanda needs him, I'm pretty sure that they could call him and he'll show up. Like,
Yeah, he's not done, right? He's not done in the MCU.
no,
We'll definitely see more of Sebastian Stan.
for sure.
But like, where will we see him pop up though? Like, that's what could you see him popping up in?
Every Avengers crossover, any movie where there's a bunch of people showing up, Bucky will probably show up.
Hey,
If and when Steve Rogers shows back up, or if there's more stuff with Steve Rogers in the background.
you just said the word. You just said the name of the day, Steve Rogers. I just heard that there's a Captain America 4 in the works.
But how do we start the show?
And that's the thing, because why would he? Well, because obviously it's true and it's documented that he signed back on. So what can you see happening with this, with him signing back on? And you
don't know.
And we said this on so many episodes. Time, there's basically no such thing as time anymore. And
Listen, in my very nerdiest of hearts, like, Chris Evans comes back and becomes Captain Rogers, or becomes Steve Rogers as Nomad, and Nomad's gonna run around and do Nomad stuff. But it's probably not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Who knows what they're gonna do? I don't know.
There's just so many ways they could take it, right?
You know how I hate spoilers. I don't like things like that. I just want to watch it.
You know me. You know I'm always gonna try to pick your brain about some of this stuff because it's like there's just so many if, ands, whys, all of that fun stuff.
Social media is getting awful, man. Instagram is the worst. Like for real. I had to like curtail my Instagram use to stay away from spoilers while we were watching the episodes as they came out.
Oh, really?
Ugh.
You just see them everywhere.
Everywhere. Especially like the suit got ruined for me too. Like,
the suit?
Just scrolling, like, everyone was posting it, and I saw it and I'm like, oh, that's cool artwork. I'm like, oh no, that's still from the show.
Wait, really? Wasn't it not until like the last episode that they showed it?
Right. But also, like, I know the listeners don't know this, but like, I was putting them off and watching them in chunks. So
yeah. Oh yeah.
I didn't watch the last 3 episodes until a couple of days ago.
Gotcha.
So, like, I didn't see the suit. I didn't know the suit was coming. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, what's this? Oh no, that suit looks dope.
What did you think of the suit?
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
There's going to be so many features on there that we don't even know about, you know.
I mean, listen, man, if it's vibranium, who cares? Like, you might as well just walk through whatever, hail of fire he wants to now.
Yeah. And you see how, like, he's able to put the wings over him now, you know? Kind of like how the Vulture did in the scene where he got into the plane.
Listen, he bounced a helicopter off the shield and the wings. So, like, if there's a doubt, or if there's a indicator that the wings are made of vibranium, that's probably a good one.
Yeah. That's what. Hey, what kind of shield was that John Walker had? And wasn't it just regular metal or
That
something?
was a dupe. Whatever that was, it wasn't a real shield.
Yeah.
That was probably the one they had in the museum.
Why you have to say all that, man? Give him credit.
Nope.
Where it's due, you know. He was
No.
doing his thing with it. Did you think there's gonna be like 2 Captain Americas now?
No.
When that happened? That was too funny, man. I love the combat scenes by the what was Carly's group called?
The Flag Smashers?
The Flag Snatchers, right?
Smashers.
Smashers.
Smash. Flag Smashers is actually a comic book character, and like Carly Morgenthal's name is a play because the Flag Smasher's name was Carl Morgenthau.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they just like tweaked that a little bit, and when they were writing the story to give her a more charismatic, identifiable like persona instead of having a blonde, blue-haired white dude from Sweden who was disillusioned with the world as being the Flag Smasher. Like them being a anti-government revolutionary group, much more palatable.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Wow, Carl Morgenthau.
Carl Morgenthau.
And how long was he around?
Long time. I'm not sure if he's dead or not. He might not be. Flag Smasher is also one of those mantles that's been passed around a couple times.
Oh, really? Yeah. I know this is way off track, but is it true that Black Widow's coming out really, really soon?
I don't know about really, really soon. Like,
someone told me that the other day, and I was like, "Are you sure?"
Movie theater is still at reduced capacity. So, like I said, I know we've talked about it before, and I've probably said it on the podcast before. They're not going to release something that big until it's full capacity of the theaters.
Yeah,
it's not going to happen.
So you don't think it'll make a debut on like Disney Plus or anything like that?
No,
because I thought that's what I heard, that it was like coming to Disney Plus.
I doubt it.
Yeah, theaters full capacity.
Full capacity. They want to make that billion.
The world has just got so crazy on us, especially with us being comic book fans. Can't go see the stuff in theaters and everything like that.
Listen, not going to the theaters probably been the hardest part of quarantine.
Yeah,
the whole pandemic for me personally.
Especially for me, I go to movies at least 5 to 6 times a month.
Like here locally, I'm at least once a week guy. Like,
yeah,
for sure.
I love theaters. I love just being on a big screen, just chilling. You know what I'm saying?
Me too.
Especially just going to see whatever.
Yep. Like I think about all the movies that have come out that have hit like pay only like services that I haven't seen that normally I would wait for like a $5 Tuesday to go see. Like eventually I'll catch up, but
yeah,
it might take a while.
Yeah. Have you been to the movies theaters yet?
Nope.
No, not until like
I just doubled down. So we've got 10 more days until we are fully immunized, and then we might think about it.
Hey, for real?
Yeah.
My guy. Where'd you get your first shot at?
Here in town.
Nice. Johnson & Johnson?
No. I took I think I got Pfizer.
Hey, my dude, making the world return to a safer place, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. So what do we got next? We got Loki starting June 11th, right?
I don't know, what is it? 7 weeks, 8 weeks?
Yeah.
I forgot what the countdown was.
I think something like that.
Some nerds got ultra dorky about it and posted. And I'm like, come on, guys.
That is going to be amazing,
You think so?
Yeah, I'm high off of everything that they gave me. I'm high off WandaVision, high off Falcon and Winter Soldier. I mean, Captain America and Winter Soldier.
Do you think so? Tom Hiddleston's got a lot of fan pull, right?
Mm-hmm.
So do you think that as the series have escalated, he'll hit a new milestone on Disney Plus and then become the new most popular series?
I think, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. And you see how they space them apart as well, too, giving them that opportunity to do it as well, too,
For your, like, we're full right now.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll go a couple weeks now.
Exactly. We're going to be super hungry by the time that hits, and we're going to just eat it up, you know what I'm saying? Because we need Marvel. We need our Marvel crack.
Listen, I'm like I can be patient. I know most people can't, but like I'll wait. We'll see what happens. Like I'll probably watch the first episode and then I'll wait a couple weeks. Well, it also depends. We don't know if they're going to be hours or half hours, or I don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah. Is it going to be 6? Has everything been 6 episodes?
No, because WandaVision was shorter episodes.
Yeah. How many did they have?
I don't remember. Was it 12 or 13? There was a bunch.
There's 13 episodes? Dang.
WandaVision?
I didn't know it went that deep. Nice. So we had 6 of this. So
I think overall it was the same amount of content, like hours wise. It was just broken up differently because they used the gimmick in WandaVision that like one episode was a decade, like an era of TV, until you got to the end and then everything went crazy.
Gotcha. Do we know how many episodes there will be for
I haven't looked.
Loki?
I don't care.
That's going to be crazy. There's just going to be so much different stuff introduced in Loki,
Well, they're going to they're going to probably go all out with, the storyline, especially with him having being caught by the temporal police, and now he's gonna have to go do jobs for them. Like, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
You know, he's gonna essentially snake out of it. Like,
Yeah.
that's how like, I will bet right now that at the end of the series, like, he gets out of his contract somewhere or the other.
Yeah. He connives his way in and out. Will we see Thor?
I don't know.
Maybe old Thor, like, right?
Could be. I'm not really sure. Like, Thor, I mean, we know that he's doing, like, Chris Hemsworth is doing another project. He could have been online to do, you know, cameos for the rest of the series, but
Yeah.
who knows what's gonna happen?
Because you got to think they're going to tell a little bit about his story, Loki, right?
I don't know. I mean, we've already seen all of it. Like, we know where he's from. We know what he's about. Like, this is a new Loki story.
Yeah. Him being caught and
Him having to do errand work for, you know, the temporal police.
mark my words, he's going to have to do something like that where he goes back in time and, like, take something from the Avengers or something along those lines.
Well, I mean, we know that he had the Tesseract at some point, or
Mhm.
a version of him had the Tesseract. So, like, I mean, he might have to go stop himself from getting the Tesseract, or who knows what we're gonna do. Like,
Yeah.
it's gonna be wild.
It's gonna be
Super excited.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be crazy, Mike. This has been a great episode of Comic Book Friday, bro. I definitely appreciate you for sliding through.
Yeah, no problem, man.
My guy.
You calling or you listening, tune in every week. Line for line. Oh yeah, I'm going line for line.